If you don't like living with us, then maybe you should leave, Jennifer said, standing in my kitchen as though she owned the house. 10 minutes later, she was calling the police, sobbing into the phone that I'd lost control. What she didn't realize was that I'd been recording everything from the start. Let me tell you how it came to this. 8 months ago, my son Daniel lost his job at the accounting firm. He showed up at my doorstep with Jennifer and 2 suitcases. Just temporary, Mom, he said. Until I get back on my feet. I'm Margaret Walsh, 67 years old, and apparently naive enough to think that temporary still meant a few weeks. My late husband left me this beautiful 4-bedroom house and a comfortable retirement after 40 years of teaching. I thought I was helping family. Instead, I opened my doors to 2 freeloaders. From the moment they moved in, they didn't contribute a cent. No rent, no bills, no groceries. Jennifer worked part-time at a salon but spent her paycheck on coffee runs and online shopping. Daniel claimed to be job hunting, but his routine never stretched further than my couch and my refrigerator. When I brought it up one Tuesday morning, Daniel waved me off. Mom, you're being ridiculous. We contribute. Jennifer, eyes glued to her phone, chimed in, we do the dishes sometimes. At that moment, she was scrolling through vacation photos from Cancun, a trip she and Daniel had taken with my credit card. How generous, I replied, my voice dripping with sarcasm. That's when Jennifer looked up, her eyes colder than ice. Margaret, if you don't like living with us, you're free to leave anytime. Her words took my breath away. In my own house, beside the fridge I bought, eating food I'd paid for, she was telling me to get out. Daniel shifted in his chair but said nothing. My own son, silent as his wife, kicked me out of my home. Something inside me snapped. The old me would have apologized, maybe even packed my own bags. But not this time. You know what, Jennifer? You're right. I walked upstairs, opened the closet in the guest room, and pulled out their largest suitcase. Jennifer followed, expecting me to pack my things. Instead, I calmly began throwing hers inside, the expensive workout clothes she never used, the designer handbags, even the jewelry bought on credit. Then I added Daniel's gaming consoles. What are you doing? She screamed. Packing, I said simply. Isn't this what you wanted? Her face drained white, then turned red. In a fury, she dialed 911. Her voice cracked into the receiver, my mother-in-law is having some sort of breakdown. She's acting erratic. I'm afraid for our safety. Minutes later, 2 officers and a paramedic were at my door. Behind them, a sleek black sedan I didn't recognize. Mrs. Walsh, the older officer said politely. We had a call about a disturbance. Jennifer appeared at the top of the stairs, fake tears streaming. Officers, thank God you're here. She started throwing our things, shouting we don't belong here. I've never seen her like this. The younger officer turned to me. Ma'am, is this your residence? Yes. I've lived here for 32 years, I said. And you? He asked Jennifer. I'm Jennifer Walsh, Daniel's wife. We've been here to take care of her since her husband passed. I almost laughed. The woman who couldn't remember to flush a toilet claimed she was taking care of me. Mrs. Walsh, the officer continued, your daughter-in-law says you were packing their belongings and asked them to leave. Can you explain? Of course. Jennifer told me that if I didn't like living with them, I should leave. Since it's my house, I suggested they might be the ones to go. The paramedic, young and uncertain, stepped forward. Ma'am, I just need to ask a few quick questions. What day is it? Tuesday, October 15th, 2:30 in the afternoon, I replied calmly. Who's the president? He asked. I rattled off the answer, gave my address, and even recited lines from Hamlet. The paramedic blinked in surprise. She seems completely fine. Just then, the man from the black sedan entered. Tall, silver hair, tailored suit. Officers, I'm Dr. Bradley Cooper, her psychiatrist, he said smoothly. Mrs. Walsh is one of my patients. I froze. Excuse me. I've never met you in my life. Margaret, he said in that condescending doctor's tone, you came to me last month about memory lapses and paranoid thoughts about your family. Jennifer slowly came down the stairs, tears streaming as she whispered, Mom, you don't remember? You've been so confused lately. Last week you accused Daniel and me of stealing your credit cards, Jennifer snapped. That's because you did steal them, I shot back, louder than I meant to. The officers exchanged glances. Dr. Cooper nodded solemnly. This kind of angry denial is very common with dementia patients. They often accuse loved ones of theft or conspiracy. I do not have dementia, I said firmly. Mrs. Walsh, the older officer began carefully, would you mind if we had a quick look around? Just to make sure everything's okay. Of course. I led them through my home, the same house I'd kept spotless for decades. But now, their fingerprints were everywhere. Jennifer's magazines littered the coffee table. Dirty dishes clogged the sink. My computer was hijacked for Daniel's online poker. And in the guest room, clothes and electronics spilled across the floor where I'd been packing. To an outsider, it could have looked like chaos. Dr. Cooper surveyed the scene with theatrical concern. Margaret, can you explain why you were packing these things? Because Jennifer told me if I didn't like living with them, I could leave. I was simply helping them pack. But these aren't your belongings to pack, he said softly. They're in my house. They've lived here rent-free for 8 months. Jennifer burst into louder sobs. See? She's getting more and more agitated about money. Yesterday, she accused us of not contributing, even though we buy groceries all the time. I wanted to demand a single receipt, but the cold calculation in Dr. Cooper's eyes told me, this was a trap. Anything I said would be twisted into evidence of decline. This wasn't a misunderstanding. It was a setup. Mrs. Walsh, Dr. Cooper said in his syrupy tone, we'd like you to come to the hospital. Just for observation. A few tests. And if I refuse? The officer shifted uncomfortably. We can't force you, but Dr. Cooper has concerns about your mental state. I scanned the room, Jennifer clutching tissues, Daniel lurking in the background, 2 weary cops, a bored paramedic, and a psychiatrist I'd never met. It was like a stage play, and I was the villain. You know what? I'll go, I said, but I want to call my attorney first. Jennifer's mask cracked. Mom, you don't need an attorney. We're family. We just want you to get better. Family, I repeated bitterly. The same family living in my house rent-free, telling me I can leave if I don't like it. I dialed my lawyer, Margaret Chen, who had handled my husband's estate. Maggie, it's me. I need you at Maple Heights General. Apparently, I'm having a psychiatric evaluation. What? Maggie, what's going on? I'll explain when you get here. I hung up before anyone could object. Dr. Cooper frowned. Mrs. Walsh, involving lawyers may complicate things unnecessarily. Doctor, since I've never met you before and you're not actually my physician, legal representation is perfectly reasonable. The younger cop looked puzzled. Wait, if she's never met you, how are you her doctor? Dr. Cooper's smooth mask slipped. Mrs. Walsh is confused about our sessions. When exactly were these sessions? I asked. Patient confidentiality prevents. Oh, you can discuss my supposed memory problems in front of the police, but you can't tell me when I visited you? Jennifer jumped in. Mom, you don't remember because of the confusion. That's why Dr. Cooper is here. Jennifer, I snapped, in 30 years of teaching, running a household, and balancing finances, I never had memory issues. Yet in the 8 months since you moved in, I've suddenly developed dementia. The older officer was starting to look skeptical. Dr. Cooper, do you have any documentation of treatment? The records are at my office, he said stiffly. Which office? What's your practice called? Where's it located? Another crack. I don't think this hostile interrogation is good for her mental state. Hostile interrogation. I laughed bitterly. Officer, I'm asking a man who claims to be my doctor for basic information. If that's hostility, maybe I really am crazy. Jennifer was panicking now, glancing between Cooper and the cops. Can we just get her to the hospital? She clearly needs help. That's when my lawyer arrived. Margaret Chen stormed through the door, navy suit sharp, briefcase in hand. Which one of you is Dr. Cooper? She demanded. He stepped forward smoothly. I am. And you are? Margaret Chen, Mrs. Walsh's attorney. And I just got off the phone with the state medical board. Funny thing, Dr. Bradley Cooper had his license suspended 6 months ago for fraudulent psychiatric holds. The room froze. That's impossible, Jennifer whispered. Oh, it's very possible, Chen shot back. Dr. Cooper here is known for helping families commit elderly relatives against their will, for a hefty fee. Cooper's mask shattered. He started edging toward the door. There's been some misunderstanding. The only misunderstanding, Chen said coldly, is thinking you could run this scam in my client's house. He fled, and suddenly the police were no longer looking at me. They were looking at Jennifer. And in that silence, I realized this was just the beginning. The next morning, I sat across from Margaret Chen in her office, documents spread across her mahogany desk. After the police had taken statements and Dr. Cooper, real name still unknown at the time, had vanished into the night, Jennifer and Daniel had retreated to the guest room, no doubt scheming their next move. How long has this been building? Margaret asked, adjusting her glasses. 8 months officially, I said, sipping my coffee, but honestly. I think Jennifer's been sizing up this house since the day she met Daniel. She always had an opinion about how I could use the space better. Margaret gave a grim nod. The fake psychiatric hold is a polished scam. The man you met yesterday, his real name is Brian Kellerman. He's been running this operation in 3 states. Here's how it works. A family member calls in a supposed emergency, Kellerman arrives posing as a doctor, convinces police to commit the victim. Once inside, the family gets 72 hours to file guardianship papers. If successful, they gain total control, your house, your money, even your medical decisions. The blood drained from my face. They were trying to have me declared incompetent. Exactly, Margaret said. Jennifer would become your legal guardian. Suddenly, her crocodile tears, her confidence with the police, the way she pressed her story, it all clicked. This wasn't spur of the moment. She had been planning it. Margaret pulled another file. I dug into Jennifer Walsh's past. Except, before she was Jennifer Walsh, she was Jennifer Parker. Before that, Jennifer Martinez. And before that, Jennifer Thompson. 3 marriages, 3 elderly husbands. She tapped the papers. The first, Robert Parker, 72. Died of a sudden heart attack, left her his condo. The second, Carlos Martinez, 68. Dead after a convenient fall down the stairs. The third, William Thompson, 75. Signed over assets, then drowned in his pool. My hands shook. And now she's married to my son. Margaret let the silence hang. A healthy 42-year-old man. But his mother. 67, with a paid-off house and a comfortable retirement account. Daniel might not have had a clue. Jennifer didn't need him in on it, she only needed him as cover. Margaret leaned forward. Here's what we do. First, cameras in your home. Record everything. Second, we alert other jurisdictions where Jennifer pulled this trick. Build a case. And third, she allowed herself a cold smile. Third, we give Jennifer exactly what she deserves. That afternoon, I walked back into my kitchen to find Jennifer making a sandwich, moving with studied casualness. She looked up. How are you feeling today? Mom? It was the second time she'd used that word. I smiled thinly. Quite well, thank you. Though I was curious about something. Her eyes narrowed slightly. What's that? Your previous marriages. Her hand froze halfway to the mustard. My what? Your husband's, I said evenly. I had the most interesting chat with a detective today. He had quite a lot to say about Jennifer Parker, Jennifer Martinez, and Jennifer Thompson. The color drained from her face. I opened my purse and pulled out a small recorder. And just like you don't know that Dr. Cooper's real name is Brian Kellerman, and that he's a convicted fraud, I'm sure you don't know what I'm talking about here either. Jennifer's eyes locked on the device. You can't record me without permission. Actually, I said calmly, in a one-party consent state, I can record any conversation I'm part of. Especially in my own house. Her fake concern dissolved as she backed toward the door. That's when Daniel wandered in, remote in hand. What's going on? Your mother's recording us. Jennifer cried. She's paranoid. Because, I said, looking directly at him, your wife has been married 3 times before you. And all 3 of her husbands are dead. The remote slipped from his hand, clattering on the hardwood. He stood frozen, staring at her. That's not true, he whispered, but even he didn't sound convinced. I held up my phone. Margaret, show him the documents. Her voice came through the speaker, sharp and clear. Daniel, I just sent you marriage licenses and death certificates. Robert Parker, 2018, dead in 6 months. Carlos Martinez, 2019, dead in 8 months. William Thompson, 2021, gone in 4. Now your wife is Jennifer Walsh. Jennifer tried to rally. Those were coincidences. I attracted older men with health issues. Older men. I repeated. Robert Parker was 72, Carlos Martinez 68, William Thompson 75. And now my son, 42. You don't see the pattern. Daniel scrolled through the documents, his face pale. Jennifer, you told me you'd only been married once. A man who died in a car crash. I didn't want you to think I was unlucky in love, she said quickly, reaching for that fragile, sweet tone. People judge widows. But the makeup couldn't hide it now. She wasn't young. She wasn't innocent. She was a predator. Daniel's voice hardened. And Dr. Cooper? The man here yesterday. Jennifer's eyes darted. I don't know him. The police must have called him. Margaret's voice cut in, sharp as a knife, wrong. We have phone records. 3 calls, Jennifer. From your cell phone to Brian Kellerman in the last 2 weeks. Jennifer went silent. And for the first time since she entered my life, she had no script. The longest call was 47 minutes. Impossible. Jennifer backed toward the staircase, her voice trembling. Daniel, you have to believe me, your mother is trying to turn you against me. I laughed. Turn him against you. Jennifer, you tried to have me committed yesterday. You called a fake doctor, told the police I'd lost my mind. You don't need my help ruining your reputation, you're doing it yourself. Daniel's eyes were glued to his phone. Jennifer, this says Robert Parker changed his will 2 weeks before he died. He left everything to you. He loved me, she snapped. His children were awful to him. And Carlos Martinez? Daniel continued. He gave you power of attorney the day before he fell down the stairs. He was forgetful. I was helping him. And William Thompson. His voice broke. He transferred his bank accounts to you 3 days before he drowned. Jennifer's pitch rose, frantic now. These are coincidences. You're making it sound like I killed them. Silence fell. She had said too much. Jennifer, Daniel whispered, did you kill those men? Of course not. I loved them. It's not my fault they died. I leaned forward. But convenient, isn't it? Every man died right after giving you access to their money. Through the phone, Margaret's voice cut in. Jennifer, police in 3 states are reopening those cases. Especially since they've linked you to Brian Kellerman. Jennifer froze, cornered. Then her voice dropped into a chilling calm. Fine. You want the truth. Those old men were pathetic, lonely fools throwing money at any woman who noticed them. They got exactly what they paid for. Daniel stepped back. Jennifer, what are you saying? I'm saying I married rich men who died and left me their fortunes. And yes, I planned the same for your mother. The confession hit like a bomb. And here's what she doesn't know, Jennifer sneered. I already moved half her retirement account into mine last month. My blood ran cold. What? Her smile widened. It's amazing what you can get with a signature. A little something in your morning coffee, some documents slipped under your hand, and voila. The truth slammed into me. You've been drugging me. She nodded. Just to help you sleep. You were so stressed. Daniel's face twisted in horror. You drugged my mother. Oh, don't act shocked, Danny. You enjoyed the Cancun trip, the new gadgets, the designer clothes. Did you think her money came from my salon job? Daniel stammered. I thought, you were working. Margaret's voice returned, sharp and steady. Jennifer, this conversation is being recorded. And as of 10 minutes ago, the FBI has frozen every account in your name. Jennifer's mask cracked. You can't do that. Suspected elder fraud across multiple states. Margaret replied. The federal government can do plenty. In fact, Agent Sarah Mitchell should be arriving any moment. As if on cue, the doorbell rang. Black SUVs lined the street. You set me up, Jennifer hissed. No, I said, standing tall. I protected myself. Agents poured in, swift and professional. Agent Mitchell, calm but firm, placed Jennifer under arrest, reading her the very rights she'd tried to strip from me. Mrs. Walsh, the agent said kindly, you'll need to give a full statement tomorrow. But tonight, you were brave. I wasn't brave, I whispered. I just didn't want to be thrown out of my own home. Sometimes, Mitchell smiled, bravery is simply refusing to be a victim. After the agents left, silence settled. Daniel stared at the floor, broken. Mom. I didn't know. I swear I had no idea. I studied him. But you knew she disrespected me. You heard her tell me to leave my own house, and you said nothing. His voice shook. You're right. I was weak. I was so grateful she wanted me after I lost my job, I let her control everything. And now I realize I chose a woman who nearly murdered my mother. Tears filled his eyes. Can you forgive me? I took his hand. Daniel, you're my son. I love you. But you need to understand, respect isn't optional. Not in my house. Not in my life. He nodded, broken but listening.